begin to see that, come on now. NGO perspective will not work for a startup founder, right? Okay. So, before I bring in Mr. Patrick, I'll just like to take 3 introductions, maybe 3 to 5 introductions. Okay, 5 introductions, 3 persons here, and then I'll take 2 persons virtually. Right, I'll take 2 persons virtually so that we can get it very, very. Please, can we connect these to maybe the MP3 or something so that we can hear those virtually? Okay, yes, 3 introductions. So what I want is that we want to meet you. Maybe what you currently do. It's fine if you're still a student, great. But we also want to know what you're really, really interested in, all right, or why you're here. All right, so who's gonna go first? Oh, Malga, I get you, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, I'll stay close to you so that those online can hear.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Ayodeji Awubusiri. Actually, I'm a dog breeder, I'm a dog lover, and I'm a dog advocate. So I'm actually here to fine-tune my building of a platform where dog breeders and dog lovers can connect together. What do I mean? There is a current gap between dog breeders and dog lovers, and that this gap is created by the middlemen. The middlemen have made it so much that dog breeders find it hard to connect with dog lovers who actually want to get their dogs, because the middleman increases the price of the dogs and so many other things that come in between. So I'm interested in building a platform where dog breeders will be able to freely connect with dog lovers, and there'll be easy transactions amongst the two of them.
All right, so let's put our hands together for him. How many of us love dogs? You love dogs. You like to see dogs. Not the people that like eating dogs. Like, dog people like, you understand? I mean, those of you that really love dogs. Okay, Mr. Ayodeji, you can see that you have a market here. Okay, all right, so who's going to go next? I hope I'm still on. Okay. Yes, sir? Okay, baby, so you go next after him. Yes.
Well, sir. My name is. I don't want to explore the digital space, create a value and make an impact in the ecosystem. So the problem the project that I'm currently working on is building a marketplace where farmers can list their farm produce, and where consumers and companies can go there to buy what has been listed on the platform. So that's the problem I'm currently working on.
All right, so when you get to the field to do the research, you now know if there are things that are going to assist you. We've tried to run something like that, but the value chain, what breaks it a lot is logistics.
Yeah. Okay, I've built it.
Yeah, his introduction, so we'll talk about it. Yeah. Please put your hands together for him. All right, so one more person. Oh, that's men. What's happening to the ladies? Okay, I should not allow them. I'm going to take 3 ladies now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you start.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Esther Lawrence. Okay, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm currently trying to. I love tech, and I want to be I'm trying to call in entrepreneur with tech. Like, I'm trying to build something on my own NGO.
Beautiful. All right, let's put our hands together. So one more lady in the house before I go to this online. One more lady. My eye sees local palette jamming with your eye. Hi, see the way she just respected herself.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, my name is Covenant Apple, and what we got me here, I'm in English space. I mean, no. I've always been fascinated with tech, every technology, and why I'm here is my knowledge in data world and getting a few things going with.
Awesome. Welcome, Covenants. Let's put our hands together for Covenants. People are not happy. People are not excited. So I'm going to turn this a little bit prophetic. The way you clap is you're going to receive. Michael said, if I wasn't, I'm not sure I would have done well being a pastor. I'm glad I ran. Okay, can I have the hands up? Those joining us virtually, can I have the hands up? Hands up, hands up. Two introductions. Yeah, Becca.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Rebecca Isianga. I am a multi-level AI engineer, and I'm a doctor. Yeah.
All right, so Becca says she's
I'm
a
happy to
medical
be here.
doctor. Yeah. Please put your hands together for Becca. If you're virtual, please also support your constituency. Clap for Becca. It's not easy. So who's going next? Yes, Ezra. Ezra, you're going next, right? Yes. Ezra? Ezra. Yes. Ezra, thank you for clapping. So, come on. Let's go. 1, 2, go. Unmute.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Oscar Joseph. I am into AI ML enthusiast. I'm an AI ML enthusiast. I am a student at the National Open University. So I am happy to be here. I want to kind of see how I can explore this program and contribute my quota to follow. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ezra. Please, can we put our hands together for Ezra? Awesome. So, together, please join me as I invite our guest for today, Mr. Patrick D4.
Oh, yeah. Mic check. 1, 2.
Okay, testing. Okay. Please, can you guys confirm if the mic is on? Are both supposed to work at the same time? Patrick, can hear you.
Mic check. 1, 2. Testing.
Hey guys, those virtually, can you hear Mr. Patrick? Can I get a thumbs up or something if you can hear Mr. Patrick?
1, 2, 3.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
No,
No, not me, Mr. Patrick.
I just stream my.
Oh, no, we can't hear him.
better.
Sorry, we can't hear Mr. Patrick talking.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, you can.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Please pardon me. I came down with you just a few minutes before I got here. Work stress, I think. So my name is Patrick Ndifon. I am the founder and CEO of Hack 51 Africa. At Hack 51, we help employers hire digital talent in Africa confidently. So we do that through carefully designed challenges that aim to assess the talents to see if they are capable of executing a particular role that the employers are hiring for. So that's what we do. But beyond that, for nearly, this is 2026, right? Oh yeah, for more than a decade, I have worked in this ecosystem to help build founders and entrepreneurs and startups. I've done over $100,000 in funding. I've lost probably a third of that building. Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey anyways. So I'm not going to be sharing whatever I'm sharing with you today from a place of theory, but from experience, basically. And not just my own experience, but also the experience of others that I've worked with over the years. And people have also learned from mentors, juniors, contemporaries, etc. Some of them are here. It's going to be fun. This is going to be Q&A, so I'll just talk a bit and you ask questions. I don't want to talk too much. But first question I have to ask you, how many of you are founders? People are entrepreneurs, but how many of you are actively building a solution? Okay, 1, 2. Okay, how many of you are working within startups? You're actively participating in building a product. You're not necessarily the founder, but you're participating in it. Covenant is. So, anybody else? Okay, if you're building a product that is non-tech, what is it? Huh? No, that's not a product. What's it? The product or service that is a non-tech product service. Is it good? What is it? Eh? Yeah, business. Plantain chips. A product. Plantain chips is a product. The same way a mobile app is a product. I hope you understand that. Yeah, that's very clear. Plantain chips. Okay. There's nothing bad about it. There's so many things you can do with that. It's your ability that matters. Okay. So we have diverse products here, right? But one of the main focus for this session, and when you're talking about startups, there's the technology component. And that component has to do with technology, how the ability for technology to come in and scale whatever it is that you're doing rapidly. Okay? Usually, when you're building these kinds of companies, there's a lot of either app involved, code writing, those kinds of things. But you don't need to be limited to that aspect, because innovation is not necessarily about software. Okay? It can be about processes, it can be about systems, right? Software can be a component, but adjacent. What do I mean? A software can be used to, let's say, scale reach for a clothing brand, right? The software can be used to provide another point of sale for the planting business. Now, somebody was talking about building a dog head. That can be a startup in the sense that, one, is leveraging technology. Two, it can scale rapidly, right? It can scale very rapidly, you know. So it's not necessarily that it has to be an app. It doesn't have to be an app. It's not necessarily that way. And when we talk about startups, it's very important to note the mode that a startup is always in. A startup is a search mode. Search mode. It is searching for a repeatable business model. The moment you find a business model that is repeatable, is that the word? Am I correct? Repeatable. Repeatable. Okay. The moment you find that model, you're no longer a startup. Money Point is not a startup. Started as a startup, it's no longer a startup. Paystack, it's not a startup. Andela, it's not a startup. What else? Flutterwave, not a startup. If the startup is, if the business is not looking for a business model, it's not searching for product market fit, something that, okay, we found a thing, is now making us sales repeatedly, the system is working without tweaks here and there, then it's not a startup. It's established. It's what's it called? It's now an enterprise. You get, or a scale up in some cases. Now, small businesses, SMEs, are familiar with that word, right? Yes. SMEs aren't startups because they might be small, but their business model is established. If you carry corn and you share, people will buy. You don't have to do too many thinking about it, right? If you open provision shop, if people pass there, they will buy. But if you open Hack 51 store, somebody will come and ask, do I need this thing? You understand?
Yes, sir.
Someone will come and ask, do I need this thing? How can this thing help me? There will be many questions. Not everybody that will pass would instinctively, it's not like an instinctive thing where people just come by. If you're going somewhere, you're hungry, see provision shop, you know. I'll give another example of a business that is a startup but doesn't look like it. You see this food business, Chowdeck. What does Chowdeck do? Chowdeck connects users with food, right? But you can go to a restaurant to get food. So not like food is special. You get what is special, what Chowdeck is offering is delivery, right? The logistics behind it, allowing you the option of accessing allowing you the opportunity or possibility of accessing a wide option of delicacies. You can go on Chowdeck and look at different restaurants, different menus, and order. So it's not necessarily food that you're after, because you can go anywhere and get food. But it's about the options. It's about the fact that you can get any of those options to wherever you are as quickly as possible. So you need to think about startups in that way. Now, would I say Chowdeck has gone past the startup phase? I think so, because they have a repeatable model. They've done consistent revenue over time, right? So they're not trying to figure out product market fit and all of that stuff. I know I'm saying some kind of big terms. They're not really big. You just go there and you get definition. These days, before you come to the session. So what sessions like this should do should speak from experience, not theoretical knowledge. Now, how many of you are ready? So you say you're fine. How many of you are ready to commit the next 7 years without profit to your business? Yes.
7 years.
No.
What 2 years?
7.
7 years.
Nothing coming out.
90% of businesses fail the first 2 to 5 years. 2 to 5 years. In Nigeria, almost 90% of businesses fail after at year 5.
At day 5.
Year 5.
That's my own data. We don't see it.
Year 5 is when they announce it.
Usually, they will announce if there is any, they don't last year 5. Most times, those businesses usually the reason they fail is because they're not actually solving real problems. It's either it's a copy of something. That's one problem, major problem. The second one is that there's no founder talent. Founders don't have the capacity to build, or they've never failed before. I think the failure is very important in you having that experience to build successful businesses. So probably that's their first startup. The third reason, everybody's rushing to build an app. Nobody's trying to solve a problem. People just have ideas. Oh, let's jump in and let's start building an app. It's very, very tempting. It's one of the hardest decisions to resist building a startup. Everything looks like an app. Every problem. Sometimes just a Google sheet. or a WhatsApp chat. There's a guy that's building something around WhatsApp, I think some payment stuff around WhatsApp. That could just be the solution. So 7 years, who's willing to go 7 years? You're ready. If you're not ready to go for the long haul, forget it. Don't bother starting. Because building as a founder is, yeah.
Sorry, I have a question on that. Like, do you mean like the money you'll be getting before that 7 years will not be enough as expected, or nothing at all?
When you're building a startup, like I said,
Yeah.
you're in search mode. You're going to burn resources, right? Trying to figure out a reputable model. What does a reputable model mean? It means that the business is working and is generating revenue, right? It's self-running to the point where you can even make profit. But for you to get there, there's a lot of experiments that you have to put in place. So you have to run. I don't know if you understand.
I understand.
Good. Sometimes, and now this is the reality of it, because at the beginning, you're not going to have all the resources put together. That's one. You will not have all the money. You will not have the time. Now, for me, building my startup, this is my third startup, I'll say, I'm building, right? I use my salary to bootstrap it. Okay. I'm doing this so that you can understand the process of building. And so that when I start talking about problems, there has to be a way you go about it. Please, I have family. I have a son, I have a wife. Then I also have people that I also take care of. I use that to now build startup. So you understand that my resources are already limited without external funding. So that means I have to find a way to stretch it longer. If I'm serious about what I'm building, it means that I have a very long journey ahead of me. If I don't, the easiest thing for me to do is just to quit. Right? I carry salary, I work, do career, maybe I get another job, go on and all of that stuff. So it's a gamble, right? And we all know how investments work. Most of us have done Forex and all these kind of things, right? If you're investing, you have to play the long-term game. That's what it takes to build a startup. So you're not in for the long haul. And it does not mean that because you're in for the long haul, you can't pivot. What does it mean to pivot? It means to change business, change models, change direction. That's usually the life of a founder. Today you start this idea, it's not going the way it is. 6 months down the line, you've done your experiments, you've validated this thing is not going to work. You leave it quickly. You go to the next one, until you find that one that can work and pay you back quickly as possible. There's a book called by Ben Horowitz, Hard Things About Hard Places, Building Hard Things About Hard Places, something like that, right? That book tells the story of this guy, I can't remember his name. He started building Netscape. Netscape was an internet browser company. And they ran very well for a while. Then competition came in, I think, changing time and everything. The company started folding up. They took a technology from inside the company, turned it into a startup, continued. It happened again, took another, continued. That's how founders think. I know most of you have never heard of this kind of thinking before, or probably someone tell you that it's going to be hard. But I'm doing this because we have a lot of people that are excited about building, but are not prepared mentally and do not have the skill and capacity to come and build. I want people to build, but I want people to build with a sense of the conviction and capacity. Are you following? Because 100 people entering the space to just do rubbish does not help anybody. You follow? But if you come in and you know, okay, look, this is the problem that we're tackling. I'm going to tackle that problem. I'm going to see it through to the very end. Then it is better. We're better off that way. If we can have 100 people thinking like that, and maybe only 10 succeed, that 10 will have more impact than just 50 people fooling this, just feeling everywhere and just building things that don't make sense and constantly having failures. Now, I'm trying not to talk too much, right? Our startup space has a problem. There's a funny problem now, which wasn't there before. And the reason it's here is because too many founders raised money too early and then did not manage it well, and then they failed. You get it? And failed with lousy excuses, failed with bad systems. How many of you heard stories of founders that were paying themselves $50,000 a month? You heard the stories, right? Like a founder squandering money, doing all kinds of things, right? Those kinds of failures affect the ecosystem. Are you following? Imagine that, we pumped in 1 million, and then out of the 1 million in that space, 500K, those, let's say half of that failed. And then people start saying, okay, the founders did not do the right thing, they did not do validation properly, they were wasting money, there were leaks. Investors are looking at the investors that I'm like, is that how that place is? And what they start doing is that they start putting measures in place that make it harder for newer founders to start getting funding. So if you check, there was a time they call it the funding winter. It was so hard to get money. So hard because nobody was willing to put in investment into the space. So it's very important that founders understand that, look, if you're going to get into this entrepreneurial journey of building a startup, growing it, and making it successful, there are certain things you have to have the right mindset. You have to be in it for the long haul, right? Meaning that there's delayed, you have delayed gratification, right? You have to make sacrifices. You have to do proper due diligence in terms of your systems, your processes. Somebody who's in it for the long haul will not come and rush through problem validation. The person will take their time to ensure that they are solving the right problem, right? For the right individual. Do you understand? That person would follow process properly, will build systems correctly. They would make sure that their financial statements are properly done. I don't know if you understand. It will not be rushed. It will not be like a beg app that carried 1 billion to put inside a Big Brother because they thought money is what makes businesses successful. I mean, you guys know a beg app. Good. You know a beg app did? 1 billion for ads for Big Brother. What was a beg app? So a beg app was not solving the problem. All they were doing was you can use the app to beg for money. Why do I? You can use WhatsApp to ask for money. So why do I now need that for it? Do you understand? These are people think. And I'm going to give him small boost bar. Yeah, Basbo. How do you know your stuff is solving a problem? Have you done the validation for it? You can have a solution you're excited about that is rubbish. You have to do the proper work. Sometimes it can take you 6 months to a year to be sure you're solving the right problem. Are you going to be patient enough for that long? And I'm saying something because you don't have money. Nobody gave you $200,000 US, 30,000, 50,000 US dollars to do problem validation. The reason Google can do problem validation in 1 week because they have money. And Google, they'll hire like, you used to hear the number of people they used to fire now. 20,000 people were fired from Google. Can you hire 20,000 people? Me, I can't hire one now. So, do you understand? That's why I say it's a long-term game. You don't have all the money. And your first goal cannot be to chase the money. You can't be chasing the money, right? You can't chase the money. So the first thing is to figure out the problem that you're solving. And know that problem is one word they used to use, in total. You guys know that word? Yes. Know the problem very well to the second nature. Maybe you have the problem, you wake up, you see the problem in your dream. Onto the second nature, understand it. Without that, you're just wasting your time, right? I know I'm sounding like a frustrated founder.
No, that's not it. You're telling what it
You see, right now, I'm part of an incubation program. And since last year, I've been traveling to Abuja. I think I've been to Abuja like about 7 or 8 times for that program. And I've come to a point where they offer me 200K USD now as investment. I will not take. That's like 300 million naira. I will not take. The only way I'll take that money if that person swear, sign agreement and everything that they'll not touch, they'll not disturb my life for 2 years. Because when you take money from an investor, you are hooked. And they'll force you to do things that you would have not normally done. They'll throw you off track. I know. You can chase money, it's fine. Right? I would rather take 30 million and use that. That's $10,000 US dollars. So I think it's much. And use that to figure out the problem very well. Right? So I'm not looking for too much money. I'm looking for just enough money to help me validate so that if I want to go for funding later, I have strong evidence to negotiate. Now I'm desperate for money in a way, but I cannot, if I allow that desperation to take this thing, take root, they can promise me everything, and I'll lose the entire business after 6 months. That's investment, startup investment for you. Yeah. And that's what a lot of these guys they do. Sometimes, so the CEO of 54G, former CEO of 54G, funny enough, he grew up here. He's actually my family friend, and he grew up here in Calabar. Small world. He grew up here in Calabar. I mean, I really know Pastor Jerry is his wife. Good. Her brother. They all grew up here. She's from Calabar, she grew up here. They all grew up here. So her brother is the CEO, former CEO of 54G. He was telling us a story of how he started his company. So it's a genetics and biotech lab. They do drugs and all those things. African, one of the first indigenous stuff in Africa. Now, the guy had the idea, before he had even started building anything, he had already raised $2 million. Yeah, concept $2 million. He's school in the UK. So access to a lot of networks. $2 million. He told us that was one of the biggest mistakes he made. He raised so much money to the point that he was under so much pressure to build things. And when you're building a business like a lab, you need time, specifically because labs are not things you just build from scratch. These are like mission critical stuff. So there's a lot of testing, environmental, quality assessment, all these things that will take time to be done. Not because the systems that are assessing you are slow, but because the very nature of that kind of technology or that kind of solution, right, requires time. But then investors are on your neck to do things very quickly. It just couldn't work. And so they orchestrated a plan and got him out of the company with over $30 or so million available. So it was not a funding problem or anything. It was that people put money and they were rushing for solution. So don't chase money. I know somebody personally, but that guy is that we just want to mention it before we end up somewhere. $11.6 million they raised. Person grew up here, was born here, grew up here, went to Unical. $11.6 million was raised. Oh, they can't hear me. Can you hear me now? This is good. Is that okay? Okay, it's coming out. I know it was green before. I think, is it connected to this device? If it's this device, somebody will be calling this phone, so you may have disconnected. So $11.6 million was raised. Built a startup in less than 5 years. That's what failed. Apparently, somewhere along the line, there were leaks. Somebody had stolen money down and all that. Me and a mutual friend, we asked ourselves this question. If you got $11.6 million today, how long will you last? How long will you last? Some people, they won Cancun, Vatican Island, wherever they've gone off the face of the map. The investors are looking for them. Those people are hardcore criminals. They were not there for the startup, they were there for the money. But if you're there for the startup, you were found, how long will you last? I know some people say, I'll last longer. The money I'll do. Yes, so you can last longer, but there's a way that there are impulses that will suddenly awaken that you did not know were there before. And it may not, you actually might be a good founder. You actually might be somebody who is actually passionate about building a successful product. That's what we're doing, but it was an e-commerce platform. We're buying a platform, Wax Market, selling it on Shopify. I could have built a press and paid 35,000 naira a year. Then we started paying models to model the clothes that we bought. We got a photographer, snap pictures, anything, because we wanted high-end stuff. That was almost 50K a month. And we were doing that every 2 months. We're doing that. We had raised 1.5 million naira at the time. I was very interested in building these things. Do you see my decisions? These decisions we were making. They looked good. We had money we could spend. But it was very stupid because after 18 months, it's over 1.5 million. You know how much revenue we made? 40,000 naira. It's not possible. Who said it's not possible? Bro, you can, your own failure will shock you. You will fail. You look like say, with my two head, my one head, I feel like this. That's because there's a proper way to build. You know, forex traders do this a lot. They have financial discipline. You know, you're fighting. I used to watch my brother trade. He trade. You just hear from him shouting. You be shouting. I'm like, what happened? He say he had a plan, though, but somehow along the plan changed. He went to catch more money. I can't blow. There's a way to build. 40K revenue. We along the line of that 18 months, we built a feature that will allow people to buy stuff on credit. So they'll come, the address is 25, they only have 1K, they'll pay. And this was ahead of its time because there was no platform or API we could find that could allow us to do that. So people will come pay and then we'll take back the money over months. We built it. We had shut down operations, focused on building that for 3 months. Launched it, nobody used it once. We were doing validation at the end of the 18 months. Spent 50,000 naira to ask people what they like, what they don't like, what kind of stuff they have. Can you imagine? It started from day one. You don't ask anybody any question. Started building product. Build app, build models, everybody. They had full team running, pap. And then at the end of the month, at the end of the team, we're now asking them, okay, ahead. So all this now, we said it cost us 50,000 to do that in 2018. 50,000. So you can imagine how many founders do that. How many people just have excited about an idea and they don't do one single kind of validation. And they don't do it regularly across the entire journey of their product. Those kind of people, what happens is that they can get $11.6 million. They will fail. They have nothing to build on going forward. They will have burnt that entire $11.6 million. For me, today, I'm not going to describe people that fail. I was telling someone today that the only experience that the founder can get is failure. Forget it. You can study all the books you want. There's something we see in the business world. Every business plan does not survive first contact with the customer. You can, because ideas are perfect in your head. Go and execute. The environment is like, I don't know, it changes rapidly. So, but failure can be of different consequence. I think that's the right word. You can fail totally, or you can fail in a progressive and learning manner. Do you understand? It's up to you. So someone that goes and blows out 10 million, 20 million, you get, without nothing to build on after, as a colossal failure. But you can take $10 million, fail with 2 million. You enter another, pivot to another idea or direction, born on that 2 million. So by the time you get to your last 2M, you would have figured out something that works. That's the best way to feel. Questions?
Okay, this question is a little bit funny. What I want to ask, because when you were telling us, you mentioned 64G. So you said
54G.
Yeah, 54G. You said former CEO.
Yeah.
So along the line, you let us know that it was the investors that ganged up to remove him. So my question now is, how does it possible to remove somebody that owns a product because you are the investor? So how you, the investor, remove the owner?
Okay, very simple. Very simple. First, he did not have experience and he did not understand venture capital funding. So there are agreements, things you have to adhere to. Somebody cannot put money in your company and will not own it. Number first, like that's why you have to be very careful how you get money. Because somebody can come and tell you 10 million and they ask for 70% of the company. Most people will give it if they are desperate. Sometimes they don't think about the consequences of these things. 10% is even too much. And then sometimes you also have to be careful because there's something called valuation. How do the justification of the value of a company matters. So some people are quite ridiculous. They say that my company is worth 1 billion naira or $10 billion. You can't just call the value of your company like that when it has not even generated revenue I mean, there are ways to value your company even when it doesn't have revenue, but it has to be grounded on certain realities that you can defend. Because in the funding journey of the company, how you start your initial raise can determine how the rest will go. Because investors will put the pressure of price. Just imagine that you raise bad the first round, and then you go to the next round, and then nobody's telling you that they're going to put above this amount for this value. You can't sell. And because you can't do that, you can't sell, you are forced into a box. So it's either you figure out how to raise money elsewhere or on your own, or you have to commit certain things to investors. And the more people put money into your company, the more leverage they have to oust you. So people, you can have like 10 investors now. One of them is very powerful. The guy will go and tell the other one, oh yeah, let's buy this guy out. Yeah. Bro, they remove you, you're gone. That's how it is.
I am
You have the brain. Yeah. Wait now. Wait. You have the brain. So does somebody else to have brain.
Then also the business is registered with the name of the founder. So how is it?
That's what I'm saying. They so you have a business, right? You own 100%. The guy come and put 30 million in that business. You will not own 100% again. Why would I give 30 million for free and not own a part of your company? Who am I? My father Christmas. You will give me a share, and that share will be very big. And you will not just give me a share, you give me certain controls. One of the controls you give me is that I can remove you if you misbehave. So you want my 30 million, you have to agree to it. If you don't want it, go. Do you understand?
No, but
and hold on, wait. Andela today is not being run by the founders. They are mostly Chinese white people on that company. You say you have the brain. The people that have the brain times two. In fact, there's some people that if you give them your idea, what they will do with it will blow your mind. Plus, they won't have the network and the money to go make it work more than you. Don't get attached to your idea. So you can start it unless it's something that is so unique. That's why when people call me IP, they talk about it, I don't laugh. Like, do you know what it means to have to own something that is so unique that only you knows it? Very unlikely. But it's not that okay.
So you mentioned validation, idea validation. When do we say, okay, I've validated this idea? What is the criteria to say, okay, yeah, this works?
Man, the number one criteria is money. If people pay for your service, it's validated. Well, but I'll say that with a pinch of salt because one-time payment is not enough. Repeatable payment. You get a return customer, you then come back and you then pay again. So you have a validated idea. But it cannot just be one customer anyways. The level of validation and degrees increases as you have more customers. So you have repeatable business model. So if someone pays for it, that's a very, very strong signal that you have a working solution. I know your family member, please.
So I said, like people pay for it first time and keep paying. What if at that point probably you think the idea of the problem has been completed and everything, and it still fails? What would you say is the issue at that point?
So now this is more of a diagnostic type of thing. The main reason is startup can fail, right? But one core problem is that there's no market need for that solution. That's number one problem. You're building something people don't need in the market. So let's say you have one particular customer and then you increase to 10 and 15, 20, 30 and it fails, right? There could be many reasons, okay? The question is now that problem itself, right? Is it something that is constantly recurring, right? Is it a problem that you know will exist in infinity? You get, or is it a problem that by 2026 that's finished or 2027 that problem is no longer? It's not fail because competition, the market is choked out, right? There's some people that are eating market share. You don't have enough customers to sustain the business because you're running costs. If you're not getting enough customers inside that will keep the business running, that could be a result of one, the market is too small, or there's too much competition that is drowning out the market. You know, like people that like to sell corner and peer. The open one that is then see traffic, or some of them come and put beside the park. Or you know, there are 10 of them on one road. That it creates what they call a red ocean. Everybody's sharing. So if there were 100 customers and 10 people come, market are divided to 10 customers. But you understand? So still in building your business. Now, to upgrade my response to the validation part, The business model now becomes validated when it is generating enough revenue to sustain the business. So you validate the problem in the sense that people are paying for it. Yeah, people have this need they need to solve and they're paying for it, right? But you see, building a startup is not just problem alone. It's not you just doing. What happens when you know that scale can kill your business? Scale. Like you just expanding. And you can do it in two ways. One, either the market is too large for you to handle. You have such a good product, but you don't have capacity to meet this thing. One, or you get money. This one is so funny, right? You force yourself to expand. You now expand bigger than the market. I'm not like I'm thinking before, right? You say, okay, I used to do this exercise for myself every time I go to Chicken Republic. It's small. I'm like, so these are mid traffic. And I'm like, should these people scale or not? When will be the right time for Chicken Republic to scale? I should ask myself that question. And it's interesting because some days you can come in so packed, there's massive traffic. That is a signal. But is it a signal that you should now open another Chicken Republic? Oh my, yeah, traffic is more to see. You can open another Chicken Republic, you don't sell now one, but traffic will still be happening in this one. You have burnt cash to set up a new Chicken Republic. You follow, or you might open and then the numbers are still not enough. It's not enough for you to now pay salary. It's not enough. I don't understand. It's a very dicey game. If I was hitting that traffic every day for 14 days in a week, maybe I may now do like an experiment to see if I should open another store and then test. If that experiment failed, I will not burn so much cash. We pass, I'll now open. Do you understand? So even scaling too can spoil your business. You can go part thinking, oh, we're seeing numbers. But we can't handle the load. Go and find money, put pap open, you now discover that it's not really that, it's fake.
To get part of this. And I have a business startup. After I start off, like I'm starting the business, I don't need investors.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'm starting the procedure regularly.
Okay.
And using the little income.
Yeah, you can. I want to know this little startup, but when you say little, startup now already small thing, couple little engage. See, the first place to start with is to check if there's an actual problem. When I say actual problem, it does not mean that there are people around that are experiencing it. That's one. Are they willing to pay for the problem? Or let's say we go to, are they willing to pay? Is this severe? Right? Are they looking for a solution to the problem? You have to talk to them. You have to ask them questions. Okay? Discuss. Get to know how they try to solve the problem. What are the bottlenecks with the current solutions that they're dealing with? Then you can then try to now validate they'll be willing to pay for a solution. It's not asking them, oh, will you pay for this thing? No. Present them some similitude of the solution, a concept or something. So, okay, look, this thing will solve it. How much can you pay? Deposit money now. Make I see. Pre-order. You guys heard of pre-order, right? Pre-order is like order the thing before I build it. If they pay, fine. That gives you a sense that, yeah, there's willingness to pay. That's just first level. Half 51, we didn't build an app. It would have cost us probably 100K USD or more to be want to build the app from scratch. I didn't have that kind of money. I didn't have one at that period. I called guys that I know. How far? You can give me like small bar, make I use one idea. 450K. Now that's what I raised. Not investors, friends supporting me. They were outside of the country, so it was easier for them. $200, $150. As I raised that money. And I spent less than 100K to launch Capital. I launched it in 31 days. I did not build any product. I built one landing page with WordPress. I left my lesson very well. One WordPress landing page was free. I paid for hosting and domain for 1 year. Then everything was on Google Forms, open WhatsApp group, added all the people. Anybody that signed up on the platform, we added to WhatsApp. 6 months, we had 600 signups. Google Forms, Google Sheets. I was using AI to create the challenges, created, we shared. People submitted. We partnered with an organization that gave over £2,000 in prizes. We're giving out most of the money I used to give out prize, 30K, 20K, 10K, people that won challenges and sponsored marketing and all these kind of things. So let's say I didn't even give out prize first. Now 100K where I use build product. Tech startup. That startup led us to winning a ₦5 million grant. So you can actually say that I use 100K to get 5 million. So if you're starting, you don't have to start doing an app, right? What's the smallest possible solution that you can deploy with the available resources? Google Sheets, WhatsApp, Docs, or piece of paper, right? Something that you can make sheet and just try and see this thing can deliver some kind of value. And by the way, we had the company use us to hire a talent. Most of the money I've spent to date, because we got half of that 5M. So 2.5, what did I use it for? Mostly buying, which again, I even also made a mistake. But I can justify my mistake in the sense that we're trying to see how we can use AI to rapidly build. But the AI tools were not mature as they are now. Let's say I kept that money and I waited till Claude is the way Claude is. I would have had a better option, but then I couldn't have known that. Yes, I couldn't have known that because we're trying to see how we can build the MVP as quickly as possible. And so we bought Bolt.new, bought what was it, ChatGPT, all these AI tools, but they were not giving results that we needed. And then the whole building with AI space in terms of what's the best process have not matured yet. So you see, now that could have been detrimental to me if my entire system was depending on AI, right? The timing would have been wrong because AI had not come to the point where I could have built something proper. And I would have just killed my startup at that point in time. And that's what made Facebook successful. Time was not because of anything. Is that they built Facebook at the time that people were used to social media and all these things, and they had access to data and stuff like that, so people could use that platform. But High Five, how many of you know High Five and MySpace? They failed because those things, people didn't have access to data, mobile phones, all these things to be able to leverage that platform. So yes, most of the money went on that, and then helping out people within the team for different issues because they were not being paid salary. So there had to be some kind of incentive and motivation to get away. So let me just finish with that. The thing is, figure out what's the cheapest possible way you can start. You don't have to build a big idea, everything. You can start with a small part of it, right? Validate that, and then figure out a way to either get additional support or funding to now build the remainder part.
Okay, so I think we spend a lot of time talking about building, and we look at the marketing side of building. When you're done building, what happens?
So, okay.
So, because I work with a lot of startup founders and business owners, and I feel like most of them do not try the product before they actually begin outside to market it. And the first when you go into market it, I think that's where the whole validation just fails because nobody will be careful. Nobody will even answer you because you're not even trying to find out if so even if it's a dress, right? Before anybody launches any clothes, what I see a lot of female founders do now before they launch any clothes, they wear it and you hear how many people say, "Oh, I like your gown," before they actually launch it.
Yeah.
And now same thing happened with tech founders, right? I don't think they really pay attention a lot when it comes to marketing. They really pay attention into building it, and when it comes to marketing it, they just feel like it's supposed to just work because the product is good. And I think we need to talk more about that. The product might be great, but if the strategy to market it is not good, it's different.
I agree with you, but here's where I'm going to bust that bubble and even break the table. Marketing is not your problem. We've been talking about building, not necessarily just building blindly, but building with validation. There are many aspects or many techniques or methodologies of validating a product or an idea or a problem. Marketing is not the problem. In fact, I think that, and this is my opinion, right? And a lot of guys in the product space are going to agree with this. You can't market shit. I'll tell you, point blank. You can't say, oh, you're throwing $1 billion into marketing, but your product doesn't work, doesn't solve a problem. I talked about that beg, and I know why I talk about that beg. Because that's what a lot of founders do. Actually, they do a lot of marketing. They think that pumping $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion into marketing will make the product successful. There is a time to do marketing. No debate about that. But you can market a product to your own destruction. Imagine a product that doesn't work or deliver the value it's supposed to deliver, reaching 1 million users. What do you think your customer service team will be doing with? Million complaints. Marketing is important, but we're not talking about marketing now. That's the area that's called distribution. When you're validating an idea, and I'm going to share with you methodologies now, there are things like beta testing, dog food testing, right? Pilots, all those things. That is still part of marketing strategy. If I have an idea, and I'll give an example, this is what we did at 51. When we built our 51, we didn't build a full app or anything. We built a Roddy solution. We took that solution and we said, look, we reached out to WhatsApp communities. This is what we're doing. Solve this problem. Solve this, solve that, solve that, solve that. People started signing up and testing our platform. Somebody reached out from Uganda. They want to sign up my 51. I said, sorry, we're not in Uganda. I could enter Uganda, and next thing you know, I'm paying a $100,000 fine. How? I pushed my product into a market without paying attention to legal constraints and other considerations. Or I can still push it to Uganda. I'll be honored to sign up, but then I have a problem with translation. You see, this is the problem. You're not just trying to put your products everywhere. You get, there are systems that you need to put in place. It's called internalization, right? Internationalization. You get. If I'm going to distribute something to a larger audience, I have to make sure that it is working to a certain degree, right? Before I start pushing it to a larger audience. But part of validation requires that you have to get users to test your product. In fact, it is such an amazing strategy that you can start saying, okay, look, we launched our 51, we put it on the rural community, put it on the Cycle community, which has probably a total of, let's say, 2,000, 3,000 users, right? We get them on our platform. From those users, we're going to start getting feedbacks. Okay, you guys fix that, you guys fix that. And we're dealing with those users until the point where we build our MVP, it's stable. You know it's working. We put things like scalability into place and all of that stuff. Then we've tested it. We can step it up a bit and say, okay, we're going to expand it to maybe 1 city or 3 cities or across the south. 10,000 users. Can our system handle that scale? We adjust, we fix, do all those things, right? See, we are marketing it, but not in the sense of the way marketing is done. You get it? When we now have a stable solution that we are certain delivers value, right? What do? You can now say, okay, look, and that's where operations come in. Because when you're doing this, you have to consider operations. You can now say, okay, look, this is the budget that we have. We're going to allocate this amount to marketing. But if I start putting money into marketing and I'm running a Google form, and I have to fill that Google form manually, and then I have 10,000 people sign up on my platform, and I can't even deliver whatever I'm supposed to deliver to 10,000 people in 48 hours, I have done what? I have gone and made a promise, and I have failed on that promise. And I've not even started my business. There's a time for everything. Marketing is not the first step. It comes later. Any other questions?
Okay, so just minutes. So I'm also thinking that validation might happen in 2 ways.
Right.
Payment is one part of validation.
Yes.
But the very first part of validation is your customer, speaking to the customer before you pay. So I'll give you a typical example. We have sat down at the office and we have thought about a particular idea for the informal women in the informal sector. And we said, okay, people are already doing these things with them. Let's go talk to them about, because also when you're trying to do research about an idea that you have, please try as much as possible. Try as much as possible not to use Google Form and research questions, because you're actually setting that question with a particular mindset. So rather go with the open-ended questions where you can ask people, and if you can, take their permission to record them and get audio. So we got out, went to the market space because the truth is, for you to even get an idea, it's for you to get an idea and get people to validate the idea is tough. That's a very, very tough journey. Right? So we went, because normally you're doing open-ended questions, you need to do it with one users. So we went out and then we spoke to the women in the informal sector. We spoke as much, went as far as speaking to our Aboki, you know, and you know that language barrier, you know, between you in terms of how we understand, we that are from the South and have grown up in the South, how we understand things is different from how somebody who has stayed in the North and speaks Hausa understands things. Those understandings are different. So by the time we went and spoke to these guys, we noticed that the idea that we sat down to cook was a valid idea, and we had used that idea to move into a semi-final of a particular funding, was rubbish. None of the women were interested in the idea. But from what we were able to filter, we filtered out another product, which has now led us to even building, not even for them. We have seen a product that they want us to build, but we cannot make money from that product. There's no scalability in that product. And if you are going to do, in terms of build a product, there's going to be a lot of funding that has to be put to bring in that particular product to be live for them. So we are not ready to go through. Instead, we were able to find out another idea, which was now for people who were in the middle class, so people that are working in government, working in the private sectors, able to now begin. And by the time we now started speaking to the people in that particular sector, all of them were more than interested and like, oh, when are you guys starting? So that's how you know that, oh, there is a signal. So you must always speak to people and try to find the signal of what you should build. We had a guest here some weeks ago, Zipline. Zipline said that they are a drone delivery company. They said that they did market research for 5 years. But the thing is that for us, we just want to do a market research for 1 week and then get into the market and think that we can capture the market. It's not possible. So sometimes you might have to spend, your first product might also not be the where you're going to always stay. As you're launching your MVP, your users, you need to take feedback from the users and begin to build and refine and keep refining your product. If you look at banks like Access, GT, you see that these banks have over the years tried to innovate. Right? So if you stay in a place where you're not constantly trying to innovate, the new guy is going to come into that space and then they're going to take over that space for you. And then the truth is, you must always also look at growing verticals. You look at the banks, you have hairs, right? See that growth is happening. So you must, one product UBA alone couldn't have sustained them till now.
Yeah.
So they now need to like add other verticals and other verticals, to be able to. So that's, I think, that's a bit around how to even start. So once you start speaking to people about the idea and get the people who you think are professional users to give you the validation for you start think of building.
Let me point out something he said, that they didn't follow through with one of the solutions because it wasn't going to make. Unless you want to run NGO. That's the reality of it, right? That's the reality of it. One of the things I wanted to share something, I just remembered something, right? There are 3 kinds of research studies you can do. Very basic. There's more, but I'll just do this one. Feasibility testing, usability, and viability. Viability is, can it make money? Feasibility, can you build it? and usabilities, can users use it? Can users use it? Sometimes you have an idea you can't build it. I promise you, you have an idea that you cannot build it. Either it's too costly to build. Okay, let me give you an example. Do you know that there's so much market demand for jets in Nigeria? Jet travel. There's massive demand. But do you know how much it costs to buy one private jet per use? Do you know how much? Okay, there's somebody give me a number. $9,000. $49,000. Who wants to try?
$70,000
For a jet to buy a jet, full jet plane.
3 million.
3 million US. I know this one first hand. The company, Viva Jets. Oh, should have not said that word. Anyways. Okay, but they ask me, how did I find out? Forget I said that. They bought a jet, second hand, 1 billion naira.
1 million naira.
Yeah. Yeah. That's about $1 point something million. $1 million. Please. $1 million. The value now is 1 billion naira. So 1 billion naira for that jet. That is a what's the word? There's a market, right? But for you to start the business there, you need at least 10 billion. Because you're talking about FFA license, all these other things that you have to pay for, etc., etc., etc. That's not feasible. Great idea, but not feasible. You can have an idea too that you don't have technical capacity to build. The only way to solve that is not to probably get team members who have the capacity and willing to pay them the building for it. Feasibility. Can this thing be built? Sometimes the technology does not exist in the current present age for you to build it. Usability. Can they use it? Can they use it? Can they use it? Can users use it without asking you 50 questions? People are trying to figure out where the button is. Where's the send button? Where's the like button? That is why my statement about marketing might be harsh, but I'm trying to be blunt. If you've not done usability studies for your product and it hits 10,000 users, you will kill your business on day one. Viability. He said something. They did testing. Viability is the ultimate. Willingness to pay. Payment. Let nobody tell you otherwise. You can fantasize about it. You can have user base, all these other things. And it's sweet, it's great. But the day you wake up and your developer tells you, "Oga, how far?" Money no day. That's when you realize that payment is the number one validation. I've told men, or one of them know me, look, I've lost money, people's money before. It's not ahead. When it comes to building stuff, I don't have time. Like in 3 years, I'll be 40. Look, I'm not here to waste time. I don't even understand me, right? So if it does not pay me, I carry my leg and go. If you have time to waste, that's your own. Because that's the reality of building a startup. Are we following? You have to be sure. You can't. You're taking a gamble, but you're not doing like Niger bets. I don't know. They just gonna throw money anyhow. Because a lot of times you're going to have people's investments under your care and responsibility, and you cannot be giving people the excuse that the reason we lost $5 million is because we did not check whether you see, have people watch Shark Tank? Those things. You see how people used to talk. That one is even light. You're not. We meet, they will arrest you and you go. You can't sleep in case you call you. Do you understand? So you have to take these things seriously. We're talking more about due diligence investors do. Investors can find out what your girlfriend calls you in the night. That secret word. Maybe Like they will dig up your life, things that you thought were hidden will come to light. Because people are not playing with their money. And as a founder, the moment you start delivering services, you have to keep to your word. Things have to work properly. People can sue you. You can end up living your life on the run. I mean, we have
I have a question. What do you have to say about a founder having to wear multiple hats? Because I've been in a situation where I have to handle compliance, operations, sales and marketing. That's even when I learned that sales and marketing are two different things. And then you now have to find out that doing compliance from a country you're not really from is hard to do. Building a product for US while in Nigeria, and now you have to somehow teleport there, so you understand the market there to both do the market as one person. How do we navigate having to become Superman because we found a solution to a problem?
Man, the only experience I have is a failure. So probably I'll share. See, generally, a founder is going to wear multiple hats. I wear multiple hats now. And it's part of the process. But that is your initial step. You have to get to the point where you have, so ideally, you don't live in the perfect world, but and not everybody has all fingers are not equal. Like me now, my head is not correct when it comes to building startups. I don't wait for perfect conditions because they never come. I don't code. Thank God for AI. Because normally I would have had to hire a developer. That means convincing upon convincing to do this thing for free. You get. So the many aspects of my startup I do not know, but I use AI to learn those things, right? And that's what it comes with wearing multiple hats. You're in an era where there's a lot of AI. You can use that to learn and all those things, right? And just that's where you can also get contextual knowledge on whatever market space that you're running. But you're going to get to a point where you just need to have somebody, either, and this is what my co-founders, my core team, they have equity in my startup. That's one. Two, I've worked with them for years. Trust me, I trust them. They bring expertise that I don't have. Sales, partnerships, product, dev, all of those things. They can do it for me free. So whenever I'm telling me that, what's the next level? They don't care about. I'm trying to get them on a 150K a month plan. It's NBN, which is like rubbish. But someone's already telling me, look, she's ready to like this is not a problem. She believes in this thing. That's why as a founder you need to have a little bit self-vision very well. You know. So you have to get to the point where you're going to have somebody in the US that will have to be pay points for you and run things. But one of the mistakes there was a shoe brand we built from Calabar. It was called Calabar Knot. No, maybe Calabar. So the shoes were made in Aba, actually. The investor, the same investor that put in money into Badagi, that guy, just backstory, he used to manage a $350 billion fund for the government of Canada. And when he came to invest in us, I used to argue with him. Excited, oh, super, you know, and he was telling me stuff, I would be arguing. I learned those things 5 years down the line, but I was talking rubbish. Yeah. He told me straight up. Now he doesn't invest in startups anymore because he did 5 startups, they all failed. What was his learning? The founder capacity. For us, it was very exciting because we were energetic and live there, we worked very well together. But now we only does scale up, so that you have to do the work of get to the point where you can scale before you put money into your startup. He went to Aba, invested, bought in 3D printing machines from China and all those places so that they would stop cutting shoe soles in hand, start using machines and putting them out and everything. So we made shoes, canvas and everything, African decals and those things, stored them in Calabar, ship them from here to the US, Canada, and all those places. The go-to-market strategy. And the philosophy that the go-to-market was that, okay, the guys in the US and Canada would want to connect with the African roots. So let's give them something in Africa. We have Calabar North, Calabar South, and all these kind of things. $400 a pair. pushed to the UK to the US, died on arrival. All those Calabar African roots things does not matter where Nike is and Air Jordans. Those guys have a cultural stronghold. You get it? And there was just no one there to give us that information early on. So we had to learn by failing. And then he now wasn't hands-on in the business. Invested money, let it go run it. He's a good investor. But in African context, bad investor. Because all of us here, if they give you 10 million now, they will come to your office because that 10 million gives them. So everybody come for your village. No concentrate on startup again. You get no founder experience. People don't want to go and do school. People don't want to study. Like there's so many issues. You get. So he wasn't around to sort of like check out the money being used, things like research, market research, how we go to the market, can we test it to know what's up and all of those things. He wasn't available for that. And that's how that business, So you have to have somebody there who's like your on the ground person, who understands the market, who understands the market deeply and can give you guidance and advice before you go into that space. One of the places if I was to expand Hackathon to, I would hire my brother, he lives in Namibia. That would be my market guy. So let me understand first, maybe then I'll now put the pull up in his community. Then pick people from there and then use them as my agents, to get a lay of the land, understand things, help them to validate whatever research I might do online. Maybe do physical on the ground research, talk to actual users there before I now want to fully push whatever product I have to that market. Okay. Let me talk about marketing. For her sake. She's not looking at me, you're looking at your phone. Marketing is important. But where it's important matters. Right? Like I said, you need to have a solid product, solid sales. Marketing is part of operations. Right? Outbound operations. Are we together? You have inbound operations, has to do with the product, the running of building that product, creating the value. If you look at the business model canvas, you know that on one side, there has to be all the things that go together to creating value. Now, marketing comes to help you communicate value, marketing and sales, and distribution. If you're building a product and you want to enter into the market, you don't just splash dollars, nairas, and just say, hey, let's put this product everywhere. Your first step is what they call a go-to-market strategy. And that itself is also a way to validate your marketing strategy, because you can also validate the marketing strategy. Strategies don't always work. You can have different kinds of strategies for different things, different purposes, right? So you need to know which strategy is going to work, which is not going to work. Sometimes you can be marketing a product to buyer, not the user. I hope you know. There are buyers and then there are users. If you're selling sweets, parents are your buyers, children are the users. Who sees your ads? Eh? Huh? How many kids see ads? How many kids see ads? Most likely parents. Parents are most likely to see your ads. But there are instances now, marketing, not position, right? Where are you placing your ads? Where are you placing your marketing, right? The location. If you want kids to see them, where are you going to market them? Let's use the children, parents at their scenario now. But I want to try to tackle the problem. You have a snack for kids. Okay? Where are you going to? Well, your person is working fine, tell you everything, right? Good. First things first. What your messaging? What will you do? Where should you place the ad? Who should see it? right? Yeah, parents, because they don't understand the benefits. You can put healthy snack bar. The child does not really care or understand what that means. So for them, it's going to be really about the colors. But you might want to find places where parents and children will probably always be together. Because for the child, there's colors, there's the visuals matter. They can call their attention to the parent. And the parent looks at it and says, okay, good visuals, is this my child? If you're thinking that way, that becomes the strategy. But when it comes to go-to-market strategy, go-to-market has to do with who is the first segment or users, right? Segment of users that you want to target first. What are the first people you want to reach? In product, we call it the beachhead. The beachhead. You want to reach that part before the water. The beachhead, the first segment of people. What are the people you want to reach? There's this innovation concept about the chasm, right? There are people called early adopters. Okay, these are the people that they're always looking for new and innovative ways to do things. You get, so they'll be willing to try out things without much complaint. They are anything new, anything exciting. They'll want to test it out to see how it is, right? Some of you are like that. New gadget comes out, you're the first to buy. Me, I'm like a late majority kind of person where I have to check, I have to wait for example, I buying it. Is the thing working well? You know, what are the features? Do I need it? Is it useful? So many questions. Any majority guys don't really care. It's just new, is exciting. Good. You might, for those kind of guys, they're not really the kind of people you want to target initially for, in terms of your marketing to get sales and this kind of things. You might target them if you want to test your products. Like, you want to give you feedback, use it, you know, shred it to bits, usability, all of that stuff, and then they should give you feedback. But in that go-to-market space, you're looking for people who are suffering that pain directly. These are people that they go through this thing every day. They are dealing that they are in that scenario maybe 3 to 5 times a week. Right? They need that solution. Those are the people you want to target first. And I'm saying that you do it deliberately. It's something you call. So it's beyond just putting our ads. Can you make a list of these people? You have 100 of them, 50 of them. Then you list them and then call them directly. Hey, I know that you're having this problem. We have a solution. Can we present it to you? Sometimes, in there are cases where you want to broadcast, you know, regular ad push and all these kind of things, but you have to put a filter. What's the filter? If somebody signs up and joins a waiting list in your ad, join the waiting list. That waiting list will not just have too many. You might have like 1 or 2 qualifier questions that you will use to screen out who fits the criteria for the problem that you're trying to solve. Because you can actually waste energy on people that are not the target audience. And that doesn't help your business because remember, you're searching. So you need people that can teach you something to help improve your product. So let's say you screen and you get 30 people for your product and 20 of them have that problem. You can get rid of the 10, focus on the 20, push your product to them, let them use it, let them give you feedback. You improve. As you succeed in that level, you can now scale much more and include more categories as you expand. That way, you can adjust strategy. Sometimes you might not get the numbers you need because of the platform that you're on. You might need to switch platform. It could be Twitter, X works well. It could be Instagram, it could be WhatsApp, it could be Telegram. You have to keep testing, figuring out what the right approach is. And that's how you validate your marketing strategy.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Please let's put our next Let me close out something before I get results, just to greetings and then we shut down for the day. What did we learn about? Did you learn anything? Did you learn anything? Somebody wants to share what they learned? Somebody. Yes, it's the way you want to share something. You hit a rare mark.